everyone. Welcome to Kettering Fairmont High School. My name is Jenny Britton, and I'm the West Unit Principal. It's a great honor and privilege to welcome you to the 26th Annual Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today, we bestow the highest honor for a former Dragon, Falcon, or Firebird. These individuals made tremendous sacrifices and commitments to our athletic programs and set the standard for our current and future Firebird coaches, athletes, as well as our whole community. I would like to thank our Hall of Fame Selection Committee, who spends countless hours gathering information on nominees. Each year, I look forward to working with our committee as we review, discuss, and select our Hall of Fame class. This committee takes the responsibility of the selection process very seriously, and the commitment is a big part of what makes the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame so special. I would like to recognize several members of our administrative team for their support, as well as our Board of Education. If any of you are in attendance, we would love for you to give a wave or a stand. Superintendent Mindy McCarty-Stewart, Principal Karen Denslow, Board of Education President Mark Martin, Vice President Chrissy Richards, Jennifer Kane, Toby Henderson, Bill Lauder, who also serves as one of the members of the Fairmont Athletic Committee. Let's give all of those people a round of applause. Coaches of the past and present will always hold a special place in our hearts. With their mentorship and guidance, many of us would not be where we are today. We have many who make it a point to come back each year and celebrate this wonderful day at Fairmont, and I want to say thank you to all of you for your commitment to the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. Additionally, without the support and financial commitment from the Fairmont Athletic Boosters, this day would not be possible. Our president, Ty Rentz, and the executive committee offers a tremendous amount of support to our parents, coaches, athletes, and community. Thank you for your time and commitment to the Firebirds. Without question, the athletic history in our past runs very deep and is filled with tremendous accomplishments, some of which we will hear and celebrate today. The goal has been to bring these stories to your fingertips, any place, at any time, and I'm happy to share that we're continuing to improve this experience for everyone yearly. The Fairmont Pride Wall, which is physically located in Trent Arena on the south end, you may have passed it last night, is an interactive display showcasing the achievements of our Firebird athletes, past and present. All of the information can be accessed by going online to our website, firebirdathletics.com, and clicking on Fairmont Athletic History /Hall of Fame. The evolution of sports and social media continues to advance at lightning speed. We hope you're following along with us online. And we believe by bringing the Fairmont Pride Wall online, this will help us connect, share, and celebrate our shared history. So on behalf of Fairmont and the Fairmont Athletic Department, we hope you enjoy this ceremony. And at this time, I would like to introduce Athletic Hall of Fame committee member, Larry Lamb.
Thank you, Jenny. Good afternoon. At this time, we pause briefly in our ceremonies to remember all those Fairmont athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame who have passed away over the years. These ladies and gentlemen are listed in your programs, marked with a double asterisk in the list of all Hall of Fame inductees. We also want to pay special tribute today to 3 members of our Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame who have passed away since our last induction ceremony. Harry Kiefer, Fairmont Dragon, class of 1952. Until the time of Harry's death on September 21st, 2024, at the age of 90, he was the oldest living male member of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the charter class of 2000. He won 3 Dragon letters in football, 2 in basketball, and 2 in baseball. He was a leader on 3 Miami Valley League championship football teams and 1 MVL and district championship baseball team. The 1951 football Dragons had a perfect 9-0 season and Harry was honorable mention All-Ohio and was selected to play in the Ohio North-South All-Star Game. Harry, who played both offense and defense, was best known for his team leadership, blocking ability as a hard-nosed fullback in the single-wing offense, and his defensive skills. After graduation, Harry served 4 years in the United States Army, was trained as a master toolmaker, and spent 40 years in the tool and die industry, including owning his own company. Harry and his wife Linda loved outdoors activities like sailing and camping, and were devoted to their family of 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. 2 of the Kiefer children, Scott and Monica, are also members of the Athletic Hall of Fame. Marilyn McClarty Norris, Fairmont Dragon class of 1948. Before her death on July 22, 2024, at age 94, Marilyn McClarty Norris was the oldest living member of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. She was inducted into the Hall of Fame in the charter class of 2000. Marilyn was an athletic superstar in an era when there were very few sports opportunities for women. She earned 4 varsity letters in field hockey and 4 in tennis. Her senior year field hockey and tennis teams were both undefeated. That field hockey team, in a major upset, handed perennial powerhouse Oakwood its first field hockey loss in 10 years. In her 4 years in the Girls Athletic Association, she earned more than 6,000 points and the coveted Gold Cup Award. After high school, Marilyn attended Wittenberg University and then married her high school sweetheart, Junior Norris, who is also a member of the Hall of Fame. Marilyn continued to be an active athlete and was a successful tennis player in Miami Valley tournaments at many levels. She was a devoted mom and Girl Scouts leader, an avid gardener and dog lover, and a huge sports fan who enthusiastically followed her Dragons, Firebirds, Flyers, Buckeyes, Reds, and Bengals. Denny Prizer, Fairmont Dragon class of 1959. Denny Prizer, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2024, died on August 28, 2024, at the age of 83. After graduating from DePaul University, Denny taught mathematics at Springfield South, Fairmont East, and Kettering Fairmont. His contributions to the Fairmont Athletic Department and the student athletes are immeasurable. For 25 and 27 seasons respectively, he was the men's and women's basketball team scoreboard operator. He even had the honor of operating the scoreboard for the 1988 Women's State Tournament. He served as football statistician for 17 and 12 seasons respectively for Fairmont and the Western Ohio League. Denny was a successful assistant coach for volleyball for 3 seasons, softball for 8 seasons, where he was part of the state championship team, and was head women's soccer coach at Kettering Fairmont for 11 seasons. He was the first recipient of the Ohio High School Athletic Association Sportsmanship, Ethics, and Integrity Award in 1995 and was inducted into the Roush Educational Excellence Hall of Fame in 2006, one of only 9 people to be included in both our athletic and the Roush Halls of Fame. Denny is survived by his wife and DePaul sweetheart of 60 years, Marilyn. His daughter, Julianne, and son, Jim, both Fairmont athletes and graduates, and 4 wonderful grandchildren. Thank you for taking this time to remember Harry Kiefer, Marilyn McClarty Norris, and Denny Prizer, along with all of those we have lost from the Hall of Fame over the years. They will be missed by their families and friends, their communities, and the Fairmont athletic family of which they have become such an important part. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Jim Seawee to acknowledge some very important people. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. It's my honor today to address this prestigious group and acknowledge a few of the individuals who over the years have been so very important to the success of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. I want to reiterate how important the booster organization is, and in your program on page 28, you can see what the boosters do. For 27 years, they have purchased everything from plaques to napkins to cookies and, of course, M&Ms, which are our favorites. So please consider joining the Athletic Hall of Fame. Over the period of time since we started this, we've had a selection committee that takes this job very seriously. On that same page, you might look back and read what is the quest of the Hall of Fame and the way the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, under different leadership over the years, have been consistent in trying to choose the greatest athletes and coaches and support people in the history of the 4 Fairmont schools. We've had 31 different individuals that have served on the committee, and they served 335 years of their time. It's been my honor to be part of that for a long time. There's some individuals here I also want to recognize, and if you would please just stand, hold your applause till the end. Diana Roberts, where's Diana? Are you here? Diana Roberts, who's a member of our committee, she owned for a very long time Hills and Dales Florist for 27 years. Every flower petal that you see, she donated, including the ones that she made herself today. And we appreciate that. She's a Fairmont West graduate, and she served 13 years on our Hall of Fame Selection Committee. John Devine, if John is here, would you please stand? John has been an important part of our organization. He takes pictures for us. All the pictures that are being taken this weekend will be available to our inductees. And John, we appreciate your time. Kathy Seawee, my wife Kathy, for 27 years has been covering up all my mistakes. And Kathy has done so many things. She helped out in so many ways. And Kathy, thank you, honey, for all your help. I'd like to recognize also Carol Lamb. Carol, I think Carol's here. Hopefully she is. Carol also has contributed so much in the past, being in the photography area. Thank you, Carol. And her husband, Larry, who you just heard, Larry has done a fabulous job, not only being part of the committee, but he has also been a great interviewer for I think 20 years. And anybody been interviewed by Larry knows what a professional he is. So Larry, we want you to stand up. And then last but not least, Jessica Stickle. Is Jessica here? I don't know if she was oh, there she is, Jessica. Yeah, Jessica is doing a fabulous job with the Fairmont Forward Foundation organization, trying to build the Alumni Association, does some great work. And in the program, I think it's on page 10, you can see how to contact the organization and also join, especially if you are an alumni. Let's give these wonderful people a round of applause. Thank you. And my last order of business is to introduce what we affectionately call the greatest team ever assembled in Fairmont history, and that is the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. Today, we will recognize those past individuals who have joined us today, and if I miss someone, please let me know. But we go in order of seniority. So Coach Neil Sharsky, you're our first gentleman. If you would please stand. Neil Sharsky, Coach Sharsky, Fairmont East, 1963 to 1993. Jim Overholzer. Jim, if you would stand too. Okay, Fairmont, 1964. Phil Baker, Fairmont West, 1967. Phil has served 25 years on the selection committee. Linda Marquardt, Fairmont West, 1970. There's Linda. And Nick Becker, Fairmont West, 1970. Tim Ireland, Fairmont West, 1971. Coach Rusty Clifford, Fairmont West, Fairmont East, and Kettering, 1973 to 1990, and he served 24 years on the selection committee. Pat McDermott, Fairmont West, 1974. Brenda Zimmer, Fairmont East, 1978. She served 7 years on the selection committee. Kim Dotson came all the way from Texas, Fairmont East, 1978. Nan Heeb, Fairmont West, 1979. Betty Gohegan, Fairmont West, 1979. Peanut Burns, Fairmont East, 1979. Tom Bell, Fairmont East, 1980. Terry Bell, Fairmont East, 1980. Mike Dunn, Fairmont East, 1982. Coach Wendy Devine, Fairmont West, Kettering, 1982 to 1986. Dave Nogle, Kettering Fairmont, 1991 to 2023. Rob Jones, Kettering Fairmont, 1990. Coach Rick Robertson, Kettering Fairmont, 1991 to 2008. Rick served 20 years on the selection committee and was the impetus as the athletic director for the Hall of Fame. Coach Tim Cogan, Kettering Fairmont, 2001 to 2013. Alex Gross, Kettering Fairmont, 2007. Did I miss anyone? This is the greatest team ever assembled. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Andrea Kelsey. Andrea, 2000 and what? What year? 2009. How can I forget it? We just got introduced last year. Sorry. Okay, this is the greatest team ever assembled. Let's give them a great round of applause. It is now my privilege to introduce to you the MC for today's activities. I think is your, fourth or fifth year now doing it. He does it so well, nobody else wants the job. He's on our committee, does a great job, Scott Byer.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon. On behalf of the City of Kettering, the Kettering City Schools, the Fairmont Athletic Department, and the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, welcome to the 26th Annual Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. To date, there are a total of 182 Hall of Fame inductees, 27 specials, and 155 athletes. To be eligible to qualify to be in the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, you must be an athlete who has graduated from one of the Kettering high schools, Fairmont, Fairmont West, Fairmont East, or Kettering Fairmont, and lettered in one sport for 2 years, or 2 or more sports for 1 year. Athletes become eligible for inclusion into the Hall of Fame 10 years after their respective high school graduation. Also eligible to qualify to be in the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame are specials. Specials include a coach, administrator, or support person. Specials must have served in their respective coaching, administrator, or supporting role for a minimum of 5 years and become eligible for inclusion into the Hall of Fame 5 years after their retirement. The community of Kettering and its city schools have a long and storied history. From 1922 to 1963, we were the Fairmont Dragons. From 1963 to 1983, we were the Fairmont West Dragons and Fairmont East Falcons. And since 1983, we have been and will continue to be the Kettering Fairmont Firebirds. This year, 2025, marks 103 years of the pride, honor, and tradition that is Fairmont. The athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame span 87 years, 1927 to 2014, and include 41 athletes from Fairmont, 60 athletes from Fairmont East and Fairmont West, and 55 athletes from Kettering Fairmont. The specials, coach, administrator, or support person inducted into the Hall of Fame span 93 years and represent a total of 452 years of service, an average of 17 years per special. In the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, there are 9 different types of Hall of Fame family combinations: 5 brother-brother combinations, 3 brother-sister, 1 set of twins, 5 father-son, 1 father-daughter, 1 mother-daughter, 1 father-son-daughter, 1 husband-wife combination, and after today, 3 sister-sister combinations. The Hall of Fame class of 2025 will include 5 athletes and 1 special. It is now my honor and privilege to begin to introduce the members of the class of 2025. I will introduce each inductee and their respective presenter to the auditorium stage together. Jean Nace Mills will be followed by Robin Lynch, Megan Kelsey Bernard, Josh Murphy, Natalie Uwe-Rego, and Chelsea Welch. Let's begin. Jean Nace Mills, inductee number 177. Jean is the first inductee of the Fairmont East class of 1982. Sadly, Jean passed away in 2024. Jean will be presented by longtime friend and former teammate Pat Bowling Dillon, alongside Jean's husband, Jim Mills.
Hi, everybody. I would just like to say on behalf of Jean, I'm really proud of her. She would be so happy today. Up until she passed away last February, we watched our ball games together. We still talked about old times. She was such a great ball player, inspiration to our teammates and other friends. Our families were all very, very close. Our teammates were, and I believe Jean was our true team leader. She learned from the best. Coach Zink, Coach Prizer, Paul Johnson, a gentleman that taught her pitching skills, was totally amazing. He taught her so much technique, and she was always humble and thankful for what the sport gave her. Her scholarship, her scholar ability was just as great. She was a great student, and like I said before, a fabulous friend. We were friends for 48 years and never had a fight. She was happily married to her husband, James Mills, that joins me here today. And she loved her little puppy dog so much. She had 2 at the time. Her family meant everything to her. She was proud of each and every one of them. Their get-togethers, I was like family to them. I got to go to all their fun stuff. It was great. But I wouldn't give anything for those years together, and she earned every bit of this honor. And again, I am so, so very happy to accept it in her honor. I wish she could be here with us, but I know she's looking down. And she would be just very, very grateful. And again, I also want to thank the rest of you for being here, and happy for you as well. And I thank the Hall of Fame, and it's just, it's remarkable what you do for the athletes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat and Jim, and congratulations to Jean Nace Mills. Robin Lynch, inductee number 178. Robin is the 27th special and 4th special support inductee, joining Harry Otto, Dave Nogel, and Denny Prizer. Robin will be presented by Kate Barquette.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by thanking the Hall of Fame Committee for hosting this wonderful ceremony today, and by congratulating the 2025 Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. My name is Kate Barquette. I attended Fairmont from 1999 to 2003 when I was Kate Lauder. You may remember my brothers or sister, all of whom were athletes at Fairmont. I played varsity basketball under a young new Fairmont coach named Tim Cogan, who I hear ended up having a little success with the girls' basketball program. But I'm not here today to talk about the success of a particular Fairmont coach or athlete. I'm going to talk to you about an unsung hero behind the scenes, someone who made that success possible for thousands of athletes and coaches for over 2 decades. That unsung hero is athletic trainer Robin Lynch. Any athlete who experienced an injury while competing for the Firebirds will attest wholeheartedly to Robin's merits. She was top-notch at orchestrating management, prevention, and recovery for the athletes under her care, and she was a vital communication link between athletes, coaches, families, and physicians. Robin's treatment protocols were individualized and custom-tailored to meet the physical, emotional, and psychological needs of teenagers facing the most difficult challenges of their young lives. As you all know, sports at Kettering Fairmont High School are a big deal, and a student's participation in athletics becomes a part of his or her identity. That's why losing the ability to participate in sports due to injury can be so devastating. I can personally vouch for this. It was mid-season of my sophomore year. I scored the first 12 points of the game. I make a steal. I'm dribbling down the court to the hoop. I feel so euphoric at this moment, I think I might even dunk the ball. Okay, I didn't. I'm 5'5". That wasn't going to happen, but you get the idea. When I got to the paint, I was shoved to the floor. My knee had already planted, and I tore my ACL instantly. As I was screaming in pain, the first person to my side was Robin. The person who helped me with my pain management and emotional support leading up to my reconstructive knee surgery was Robin. The person at my bedside in the hospital before my surgery was Robin. The person who worked tirelessly for my rehabilitation and recovery for over 3 months was Robin. And among the smiling faces that I looked for when I finally stepped back onto the court a year later was Robin's. What's amazing is that my story is not unique at all. There are other people here with similar stories. That's just the kind of passion and dedication that Robin had for her job. It's what she was meant to do. Robin received her Bachelor's of Arts in Small Business Management with a minor in athletic training from Cedarville College and became a certified and Ohio licensed athletic trainer in 1995. She became the head athletic trainer at Fairmont in 1998. In addition to serving Fairmont athletes, she also supervised and instructed both high school student aides and college athletic training students from Wright State University, where she was also a clinical instructor. While at Fairmont, Robin initiated some impactful programs. She collaborated with the Kettering Fire Department and district nurses to bring AEDs into the schools and onto the sidelines. She started IMPACT, concussion baseline testing, through a grant from Dayton Children's Hospital. And she also implemented the Return to Sport and Return to Learn protocol for concussion recovery. Her professional honors include receiving the 2009 State of Ohio Athletic Trainer of the Year, as well as receiving the 2011 Service Award from the Ohio Athletic Trainers Association. And lastly, she was the 2022 Hall of Fame inductee to the Ohio Athletic Trainers Association, which is the highest honor in the state of Ohio for service and support of athletic training. These accolades make clear that she is as deserving of the honor of induction into the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame as anyone in this room. Let's give a well-earned round of applause for Robin.
Thank you so much, Kate. I'm going to go off script real quick to say toward the end of Kate's recovery, she put together a piece of art for me. And it had a picture, you know, in the athletic training room, you always have ice. And it had a picture of a goofy-looking Robin crunching on ice and saying, "You're going to lose your teeth." And she gave this whole sheet of recommendations as a young adult that a high school student would say, "Look, if you're going to stay cool, you need to do these things." I think I still have that. Well, thank you, Kate. That was amazing. Thank you to the Kettering City Schools Athletic Boosters and to the Hall of Fame Committee. This Hall of Fame Committee, your attention to detail is just impeccable. Congratulations to my fellow inductees and those that preceded us in this award. You all represent the skill, talent, hard work, grit, and determination of the Firebirds. Now, I'm not really sure that I'll be able to culminate the most consequential and career-defining 20-plus years of my career into 5 minutes. We'll see what I can do. One of my lifelong best friends, Mary Kay Rohrkemper, encouraged me to go for the head athletic trainer position at Fairmont in mid-August 1998. Now, I'd already spent 2 weeks at a school you guys might know, Centerville, down the road, as one of the assistant ATs. Now, fall sports were well underway, and honestly, as I considered the position, I really wasn't sure that I was ready to take the lead role in a school as large as this. Mary Kay had also served as athletic trainer at Fairmont, and she confidently said that I could do it. Thank you, Mary Kay, for your encouragement. It's really made all the difference. As I went through the interview with Rick Robertson and Dr. Convery, toured the facilities, and met the administration, it was exciting to see the attention to detail and support they had for the sports medicine department. Accepting the position as both study hall monitor and athletic trainer, I embarked on the journey of building my ideal high school sports medicine service. My first thank you is to the staff and administration at Kettering City Schools. The support and collaboration with the ADs, coaches, district administration, teachers, and staff made that ominous task smooth. Without folks like Rick Robertson, Fran Eden, Johnny Shoemaker, Brian Donaher, Chris Weaver, Frank Baxter, Bill Lauder, Jim Shainline, Andy White, the response to intervention team here at Fairmont, the school nurses, and so many others, from secretaries to custodians, teachers, principals, and district admin. When I first started here, they were asking for my hall pass. I looked so young. But for sure, without their support and collaboration, I could not have accomplished the many projects and initiatives that we did through sports medicine. They fostered an environment here in Kettering Schools that allowed me to build a great program as I grew professionally through my years here at Fairmont. Next, I want to give a shout out to my fellow athletic trainers and team physicians. Thank you to athletic trainers Jeff Vondelinde, Kevin, Aaron, and many others. There were a couple of seasons here early on at Fairmont that I covered every event throughout a season, and that was just too much. Teamwork certainly did make the dream work. Thank you to Miami Valley Hospital Sports Medicine initially, and then Kettering Sports Medicine and Kettering Health. Thank you to my team physicians for their ongoing support, Dr. Convery, Dr. Fisher, Dr. Buck. And then, of course, I do need to thank Chris Cameron and Amy Federley, who are taking on the baton now and carrying on the good work here at Fairmont. Another group I relied on daily serving Firebird athletes were the high school student aid volunteers that work sports medicine, helping me and the team and keeping the teams healthy and in competition. Some of those student volunteers are here this weekend to help me celebrate. Jamie, Bobby, Stephanie, Katie, Abby, Brianne, and so many more. Much of my success is thanks to their tireless dedication and hundreds of hours of hard work supporting Firebirds. Of course, thank you to my friends, my family, and always being there for me through thick and thin. Understanding that the long hours, nights, and weekends, thank you for understanding that the work here at Fairmont and ongoing service as an athletic trainer really completes me. Now, I haven't quite reached my 45-minute time goal, so is everybody still hanging with me? Okay. So lastly, I want to say thank you to Firebird athletes and families. I had the opportunity to work with and get to know over the years athletes such as Kate and so many others who were met with challenges and injuries. They had the unfortunate circumstance that put them in a position to have to get to know me all too well. Of course, I can't list them all, but I have a few names that epitomize athletes overcoming adversity and injury over my years at Fairmont, including most of the athletes that are getting this award today. I had the honor to help. The first game I covered here at Fairmont was the biggest game of the athletic year, the Alter Fairmont football game. I recall meeting my starting quarterback, Justin Shoemaker, while he warmed up on the sideline before the game. I can remember him tall and strong with his bright, ambitious eyes and sincere smile. It was at that moment that I knew I found my professional home. Also in the early years, I remember Kelly Reardon, who from her sophomore to junior year lost both of her parents. And in the process of using athletics and sport to work through her grieving process, she broke both wrists, taking her out of sport. And I remember Aaron Friesenborg, who was being recruited as a sophomore in big schools as a football athlete, was stricken with Guillain-Barré syndrome. And together, as I started, we set out to get him to stand through one full football game. And then as a senior, he got back on the football field. I remember thinking, there is no way someone so young should have to go through challenges this big. I was blessed to be able to support them through those unimaginable struggles that even most of us adults would never have to face. There's so many more athletes experiencing their first injury that reached out to me for help, and I recall they were receptive for my efforts to help them work through their injuries. They may say that I helped them, but as a healthcare professional, it was also rewarding and fulfilling to be by their side, like what Kate mentioned, from the first moment of their injury to the day that they returned to competition. I could not be successful as an athletic trainer here without the athletes and their families trusting me to assist them in both their time of physical and emotional need. Their willingness to receive this help was truly the key to my success. Without that, I was simply an ankle taper. Thanks to this acceptance of my help, I was blessed to be identified as Robin, the athletic trainer at Fairmont. There were those athletes who, despite their grit and fight to overcome, sometimes it's just too much, like Justin Shoemaker, like Gene Nace, and like a young man named Michael Klink. Michael had cystic fibrosis, and I had the opportunity to work with him as a football and baseball athlete. There were times when he would spend 2 weeks in the hospital and then return to practice like he never missed a beat. He would get breathing treatments on the sideline and get right back out onto the field. To watch his struggles, to watch his success, and watch him graduate as a two-sport athlete, to learn from his family, their example, how to lean on athletics as a catalyst to push through physical challenges. Some of the adversities are just too much, and even ultimately succumbing to the challenge and losing the battle. Some of our Firebirds have left us far too soon and have left a void in our hearts. But as the Michael Klink Award represents, there's more to life than sport, but sport can certainly fulfill our lives by the opportunity to grow our community and build character on and off the field. I may not have picked the most lucrative of healthcare professions, but riches are not always counted in dollars. The blessings I receive from serving this Firebird community have made me rich in spirit. Through my service, this community helped me define my work ethic and moral character. Thank you, Firebirds, for this award, and thank you for your influence in me, the athletic trainer, healthcare professional, and the person that I am. This award is an amazing and humbling honor. It truly means the world to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, and congratulations to Robin Lynch. Megan Kelsey Bernard, inductee number 179. Megan is the third inductee of the class of 2007, joining Lamar Skeeter and Alex Gross. Megan also becomes the third sister-sister combination inducted into the Hall of Fame. I would also be remiss not to add that Megan now holds the record for furthest traveled inductee. I Googled this. The distance between London, England, and Kettering, Ohio is 3,913 miles. Megan will be presented by Andrea Kelsey McCracken.
As Megan's younger sister and teammate, it's an honor to be here today to introduce Megan Kelsey Bernard as one of the Fairmont's class of 2025 Hall of Fame inductees. When I reflect on Megan and her athletics career at Fairmont, I can't help but recall a Dayton Daily News article from 2005 that was titled, "Sister Act Works for Firebirds." The article is something that Megan and I occasionally talk about, and quite frankly, I think we talk about it a lot because it's true. Together we made and still make each other better. While I'm very happy to be one of the duo proclaimed as Fairmont Sister Act, the reality is that Megan took on this persona of being everyone's big sister through her leadership. She would wake up early to pick up teammates for morning practice, encourage post-practice ice baths, drive teammates home after practice, all this extra time commitment, while also maintaining a 4.0 GPA and graduating as class valedictorian. Megan's leadership was not just in service to her team, but in establishing a team culture that was full of encouragement and support. Megan's only competition during her time at Fairmont was any opposing team and herself. If you were a Firebird, she wanted you to do well regardless of what the finishing order was at any given meet. In 2006, our cross-country team won the Greenville Treaty City Invitational, and realizing for the first time that we could be a top team in the state that year, Coach Hip was quoted in the Dayton Daily News saying that the other girls said they wanted to know what it took to get to state. They decided to hang with Megan as much as they could during summer runs. It was a very unified approach. Megan took the team under her wing during the 2006 season, leading to many more top team finishes that year and encouraging a team that believed that anything was possible. As it turns out, attaching themselves to Megan and listening to her wisdom was just what many team members needed to perform at their top level. As I reread that Sister Act article in preparation for today, another quote from Coach Hip stood out to me. He's quoted describing Megan as a workhorse. Every day she's ready to go. She's an extremely hard worker. This is incredibly evident in her career at Fairmont, but in particular her junior cross-country season. Despite coming into the preseason with an injury that forced her to miss a few weeks of training, she often placed among the top 10 in her meets. She won several meets that season, ultimately qualifying for state and claiming GWAC's Runner of the Year title. Not only was Megan a workhorse in running, but also in committing to one of the more difficult swimming events, the 500 free, and posting top Fairmont times for a non-club swimmer. This workhorse went on to become a 3-sport varsity athlete, cross-country, swimming, and track, earning 10 varsity letters. She held the school record in the 4x800 relay on the track until her little sister broke it. And eventually went on to compete in the NCAA Division I cross country and track at Bowling Green. Post-collegiately, Megan has posted some speedy marathon and half marathon times, qualifying and competing in the Boston Marathon. Beyond athletic achievement, Megan is one of the most selfless women I know. I recently visited Megan in London, and as we were discussing the upcoming Hall of Fame ceremonies, I asked her what she's most proud of. And she didn't have a particular race or particular achievement in mind, but she said that she was proud of her leadership and the positive team culture that she helped to cultivate. In my opinion, these are far more meaningful and long-lasting than any trophy, and they continue to be a hallmark of who Megan is as a person. She is the biggest cheerleader and supporter of her family. Watching her grow as a mom to Reed, Cam, and Kate during recent years has been very special, as she is committed to developing 3 truly wonderful kids who might have their own futures in running. In summary, many of us in the room today are lucky enough to have Megan in our corner, supporting us, offering guidance, celebrating our achievements. I'm very happy to be here today to celebrate. Megan, congratulations and welcome to the Hall of Fame.
As I've been reflecting on my time as a Firebird athlete, I've had a really hard time boiling down my experience into a concise few thoughts to share with you all today. These were such significant years, and even attempting to describe their significance in a few minutes feels impossible. Even though I'm not running or swimming at anywhere near an elite level anymore, my high school sports experience helped shape the person that I am today. My coaches and teammates taught me lessons that I've carried with me into life beyond high school sports, and for that I am so thankful. Our teams had such a culture of joy, hard work, and teamwork, which developed us not only into successful athletes, but also, I think, into successful adults. And as so few of us actually go pro in our sports, I think that's the mark of a successful high school athletics program. I can't help but smile as I think back on my years as a Fairmont athlete. I'm so grateful to have been coached by Steve Hippenmeyer, who had an incredible way of making really hard things fun. He would turn workouts into games, send us on neighborhood runs during summer training with hand-drawn maps and notes from his kids in chalk on the route. He'd write out swim sets on turkey feathers for our final swim workout before Thanksgiving. We worked really hard, but we had a lot of fun doing it. I remember joining the cross-country team as a freshman with a bit of a chip on my shoulder from some moderate success in middle school. But thanks to leadership from Coach Hip and upperclassmen like Vanessa Gilbert, I realized you can work really hard, perform well, and have fun while you do it. I'm so grateful for that spirit of joy because it has really been something I've taken into my post-Fairmont years when facing hard things in sport and life in general. Of course, mile repeats on the track are going to be hard, but they're going to be hard no matter what. So you might as well put a smile on and just get it done. It never seemed like a question that we would work really hard as a member of the cross-country, swimming, or track teams. As endurance athletes, we probably had a little more tolerance for that kind of work than the average high school kid. We spent the majority of our summers training 5 days a week, running long, hard workouts in the humidity of an Ohio July. But we were committed to getting better and getting stronger, and we'd get through those workouts that often seemed impossible. But it wasn't just our commitment to our sport that led to our successes on the track. We were surrounded by people. We were surrounded by people that were committed to helping us reach our potential. And now, as a parent of young kids myself, it's really struck me how committed our coaches and parents were during our high school years. Our coaches were also teachers and parents themselves with busy lives and commitments. But the way they so selflessly gave their time and efforts to support our development, not just as athletes, but also as people, is truly incredible. I remember running with a pregnant Coach Templeton in 8th grade, having popsicles in the driveway with the Hippenmeyer kids after summer practices, early morning runs with Coach Miller to get a few extra miles in during the season, my dad never missing a single meet, pasta parties for 50 kids hosted by a different family each week. It felt like we were all committed to working towards these big goals together. While we had big goals, qualifying for state, winning the conference, getting a scholarship, there never felt like a lot of pressure to get to these outcomes. Sure, there was disappointment when we didn't hit certain goals, but it was approached with an attitude of, what can we do to figure it out next time? One of our favorite family stories is about the Edwin C. Moses relays at Welcome Stadium in 2007. My sister, Andrea, Rudy Millard, myself, and Jackie Grimmy were running the 4x1600 meter relay. On this particular day, I was running anchor, and I got the baton in second. We were behind Mason. In my memory, we were behind by a good 150 meters, but we'd have to consult one of my dad's race stat notebooks to validate that. I managed to catch up to the girl running anchor for Mason, and the last 200 meters is one of the few high school races I can picture so vividly nearly 20 years later. We battled it out around the turn, and unfortunately I got too aggressive with my elbows, and it resulted in a DQ for our team. It was heartbreaking. Andrea and I were reminiscing about this race the other day, and she reminded me how the four of us on the team that day were devastated. But rather than placing blame, we encouraged each other and went on to win districts in the 4x800 meter relay later that season. And thinking about it now, it's pretty incredible that a group of teenagers could check their egos and inherently understand what it means to share responsibility and work together as a team, no matter the outcome. So I guess this is a very long way of saying thank you to all the people that were part of my athletic career at Fairmont. The culture of joy, commitment, and teamwork that you built into our teams was pivotal to my success on the course, in the pool, and on the track. Those accomplishments were significant and important, but nearly 20 years later, I'm so grateful for what the entire experience has taught me. If you work hard and work together and find the joy, you can do really hard things. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, and congratulations to Megan Kelsey Bernard. Josh Murphy, inductee number 180. Josh is the second inductee of the class of 2008, joining Jennifer Grady. Josh will be presented by Dave Fisher.
All right. I'm sorry, I'm old. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay, hi, how you doing? I'm Dave Fisher. Yeah, better do that. I'm Dave Fisher. I taught here at Fairmont, baseball coach, and I am humbled and honored at this time that Josh asked me to introduce him for this deserved honor. As a player, Josh was a leader, not just the guy who wanted up the bat in a clutch situation, but that everybody else wanted up at this time. Josh is one of those players who would do whatever you needed done, a leader who would help everyone. If they were having any trouble in the field or in the classroom, he would help them. He could play any position. He played outfield for me, he played infield, 3 different positions, and he pitched, just an all-around athlete. If you look at his numbers, it's a bit overwhelming, but if you add a couple of more underlying themes to it, it's really quite unreal, especially those of us who played this game of baseball, trying to hit a little round ball with a round bat. His senior year, he had 108 bats. He batted .679, And if you put that in perspective for anybody, that's getting on base 7 out of 10 times on base. That's really kind of fascinating. And then, of course, the 1 strikeout and 108 at-bats. That sticks in my mind more than anything else because it was against Lebanon. It was a full count. What do we say, Jeff? Is it outside? It was questionable. I don't think I want that umpire anyway, but it was a tough call there, so it was good. But there are some young men that you play for that a coach, you just know that they're going to be successful, and Josh is very successful in his life. A nurse, traveling nurse now. He's just one of those kids that, he's just a great kid that does things, gets things done. Josh's dad mentioned to me one time when Josh was about 4 or 5 years old playing for a YMCA. You just go out in the field and you let your kids run all over the place and do these kind of things. His dad gave Josh his oversized softball glove. Josh dressed up in a full uniform, and he went out there and played. At the end of the season, Josh's coach handed out awards, and he gave Josh the Best Dressed Baseball Player award. Made him look like a real baseball player. That's what he told him. Fortunately for Fairmont, he not only looked like a great baseball player, Josh was a great baseball player for us, and now a Hall of Famer. I am humbled and I'm honored to introduce Josh Murphy as our Fairmont Hall of Famer. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for the intro. Thanks to the committee for considering me. Kind of among the greats in Fairmont athletics. It's just truly an honor. Thanks to everybody who put this weekend together. It's been a pretty surreal experience. I haven't been back to Fairmont much as an adult, and just kind of coming back and being around, being in this environment again among the past inductees and the current ones. It's been awesome. All the former teammates and coaches, everything have reached out to me. It's been awesome. Congrats to my fellow inductees. It's a privilege to share the stage with you guys today. I'm going to start off with the part I made, get a little choked up in, and then we can just kind of get past that. So first I want to thank my mom and my dad, my fans since day one. My mom, she's always been there for emotional support, and she's kind of a bit of a free spirit, and I definitely get my go with the flow tendencies from her. And my dad, his love and passion for sports is the reason I'm here today. He was always there to support me, even if his approach was a little bit intense at times. I had several stories I was going to throw in here, and I edited them out because in the wrong context they might seem a little bit too much. But everything was in support. He always knew the right way to motivate me, and I was by all accounts a difficult child at times. So thank my siblings, Lauren, Katie, and Jared. Anybody with siblings knows, if it's not, you don't always want to go to your siblings' game if you want to go hang out with your friends, but there were so many times they were in the stands cheering me on, and I really appreciate that. Thank you to my wife, Courtney, for her support. We started dating 18 years ago, right before my junior year of baseball, actually. So, and there's some debate about whether or not she was a bit of a distraction my senior season, but I think my stats kind of prove that not to be true. But we still joke with her about that. And then, so many family members, you can't thank everybody, but there's one that not everybody has one of these in their family. And like Irwin, my aunt, we refer to her as the Irwin. She's always been there. She's always, she's that extra family member that you always have for support, and coincidentally, she's always the one that every single one of us is called when we messed up and we don't want to tell mom and dad yet. So we have to formulate a strategy on how we're going to get through that. And she's the one. when I got the call, about this, I spoke to Rich on the phone. I was in the basement and walked upstairs, and I told my wife and kids, and it was just a great moment. Obviously, we were very excited. And then, the next logical step is call your parents, talk to them. Called them. Took a second to get them on speakerphone. Afterwards, they thought that we were going to tell them we were having child number 3, but that was not the case. But I went to go tell them the words, and they just wouldn't come out. I thought I was ready for it. I was excited. I wasn't even nervous to call them, and they just wouldn't come out. And I thought about it later, and it was just, they sacrificed so much, they invested so much in me, and this was just like a way that I felt I was kind of giving back to them. So thank you for everything. All right, that's through. So kind of, with all this going down and sitting down and writing this speech, I started thinking back at all the sports moments. We talk about them all the time individually, but this is kind of a culmination of everything through our sporting lives, all the way through high school. And my wife's always amazed about how we can sit around and tell stories and remember such vivid details. Who was on base, how many outs there were, how much time was left in the game, what yard line were we on, all those things. And it's just that I think it speaks to the power of sports. Those things are just cemented in your brain. It's so vivid, and you can go back and you can relive them years later, and it feels like you're there. All the great moments, all the painful lessons, we all use those throughout our lives as athletes. I think the best example of this is probably films on a Saturday morning after a Friday night football game. Maybe you made a great play, and it's coming up, and you kind of perk up a little bit. You're like, okay, coach is going to compliment me, and you hear the words, and you're like, okay, you feel good about yourself. Maybe you messed up, and that play's coming up, and you kind of hope maybe your coach doesn't say anything about you. But after probably getting roasted by Coach Dement, afterwards, you go to CC's and hit the pizza buffet with your buds, and then you can kind of joke about like all the funny things that were said during films, and I think that's some of my favorite moments throughout high school. But I think that's kind of also the great part about sports. You form those connections, those relationships, and they're so strong. I remember all my teammates from all my teams. A lot of them I still talk to. One of my best friends in the world, Chris Patterson. He surprised me and came in today. I met him in 3rd grade Cobras basketball, and we're still best friends today. He's the godfather to my daughter, and just so many other people along the way. We've got a group chat with some of our other high school buddies that we participate in, and it's cool just to kind of share those moments. Somebody telling me that they're pregnant, they're having another child, or they graduated from something, or they got a promotion. Just all those things, you get to share those moments throughout life with all your teammates, and that's great. I'll kind of with this thought. There's I don't know if any of you are Malcolm Gladwell fans, but I've kind of become a big fan of his. His book Outliers was one of the first books that I read of his, and he goes through the lives and situations of all these outliers throughout history, and one kind of theme he comes back to towards the end is just that they're all a product of the place, time, situation they grew up in. You can work hard and you can try to be ready, but ultimately, you're subjected to those external factors. Obviously, I grew up in Kettering, the great city of Kettering, during the 90s and early 2000s, before cell phones were popular, where you would call your buddy up and go head out and, be running around. Parents probably didn't know where you were at, and then you would come back later, but we all ended up safe. Then you had to, catch your favorite TV show, like when it was on, like Dragon Ball Z. After one of my good buddies, we'd always try Brian Doherty after elementary school. We'd try to catch Dragon Ball Z after getting off of school and walk over to his house, and we watched that. Just those fun memories. He was also one of my great teammates too, but he went to Alter. I think, that's the time I grew up in, the place I grew up in, but the situation, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I've had such great support. I've had such great coaches, mentors. My family's been there. It's been, I just wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for every single one of those people, contributing in some fashion. And I think I'm just really just a manifestation of everything that everybody has put into me to help me succeed. Thanks again to everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave, and congratulations to Josh Murphy. Natalie Uwe Rego, inductee number 181. Natalie joins Chelsea Welch as the first inductees of the class of 2013. Natalie will be presented by Pat Miller.
Afternoon, everyone. I'd like to congratulate all the Hall of Famers, Fairmont Hall of Famers. It's always a great group of people. It's good to always hear this. I'm here today to introduce one inductee, Natalie Uwe Rego. As a coach of 100-plus seasons or so, 85% of them probably here at Fairmont, I've had the opportunity to see some tremendous student athletes. I also learned that as a head coach, it's a great idea to surround yourself with some outstanding coaches, great teachers of the sport. In Natalie's case, it couldn't have been better. I'd like to recognize them, and I believe they're all here. Fairmont Hall of Famer, Rob Jones. Hurdles, long jump, high jump. Hall of Famer, Pat McDermott, hurdles, long jump. Wayne High School coach, pole vault coach, Terry Wasson's here today. Terry probably coaches half of the best vaulters in Ohio, and he had the opportunity, and we're thankful to coach Natalie. Steve Hipmeyer, distance coach. He's not here today, it's a swim meet. I wanted to mention distance because if we had asked Natalie to run any distance event, we may not be here today. She didn't want any part of it, and she didn't have time for it. She was so busy. Her career in track and field is loaded with success and accomplishments. You can see it's a tremendous amount, that resume. She's been to the state championships in the high jump, long jump, hurdles, pole vault. On any big meet weekend, she could bring home 30 to 40 points for the Firebirds, and that's hard to do. She took her talents to Eastern Michigan University, where she was able to develop her pole vault talent as she got stronger. She went on to be the Asian national champion. When she was home, she knew she could always call on Terry for some fine-tuning of sorts. One of the last things to mention about Natalie is that, like many Hall of Famers, she was phenomenal at time management. Running from hurdles, high jump, to pole vault, to long jump, and back, our coaches were always chasing her down. She was an honor student, plays cello. You still play? Yeah. Okay. All right. Knows a few languages and has a work ethic that's a model for many young people. After every practice, the other thing about this when you talk about time management, she'd head on over to Huber Heights for vault practice. I don't know when she was able to eat. I don't know if Terry, you and your wife fed her for dinner or something out there, but she was a busy girl. To Mr. and Mrs. Uwe, I can only say thank you for bringing your daughter to Kettering and giving our coaching staff the opportunity to work with her. She's taught us a whole lot. You've done a great job. Please welcome Natalie Uwe, Fairmont Hall of Fame.
Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for coming today. What an absolute honor to be back here. It's crazy just walking in the doors and being flooded with so many memories. And I just want to say thank you to all of my fellow inductees and the Hall of Fame committee. You guys have done a phenomenal job just planning this weekend. I first want to start out just thanking God so much for just the ability and just for giving me this amazing place to call home. And then, of course, to thank my mom and dad. They're the most loving, supportive humans you could call your parents. I think you guys just did a phenomenal job instilling in me, knowing like my worth was never in my performance. It was just in who I was as a person. So thank you both so much for instilling that in me. Next, I would like to thank my Fairmont coaches, Coach Jones, Coach McDermott, and Coach Miller. You guys just were amazing, sharing your expertise with me, your dedication, and your support. You guys worked as a phenomenal team. Like Coach Miller was saying, I was always running back and forth between a ton of different events, and the way they coordinated and worked together was truly incredible. But a part of a part that I think is underrepresented as their coaching was their humility and their wisdom. So about my junior year, Terry Wasson, who's here today, he reached out to Coach Miller and asked if he could coach me in the pole vault. And Terry is from Wayne High School, and so a lot of coaches could have easily gotten offended or upset that a different coach was trying to coach their athlete. And I've actually seen this happen multiple times throughout the rest of my career. But my coaches at Fairmont, they understood that Terry had a unique expertise in the pole vault that could help me further along in my career. And so I just want to say thank you guys for just allowing me to work with Terry. Coach Miller brought me to my first pole vault practice. And within the first week, Terry sat me down and he looked me in the eye and he said, "Natalie, if you stick with me, I'll make you a rock star." And I was like, okay, I guess I'll stick with you. And so within the I only pole vaulted in high school for about a year and a half. But Terry took me from a beginner pole vaulter to the state runner-up by the end of my senior year. So I got just some great college offers. Coach Miller ended up bringing me to Eastern Michigan, where I ended up competing for 4 years. And then after that, I had the opportunity to compete in Spain. I really wanted to improve my Spanish. I want to give a shout out to Senora Haney. I know she's not with us anymore, but what a phenomenal teacher. So I got to compete all around Spain, pole vaulting. And then not long after that, I was able to obtain my dual citizenship with the Philippines, which was just a dream come true. Never would have thought that would be an opportunity when I started track and field here. And so I got to travel the entire world pole vaulting, going to really awesome countries, Taiwan, Thailand, Doha, Qatar, just really amazing places. But the thing that I didn't know that track and field would give me was an opportunity to connect to my heritage and to my roots. Growing up here in Kettering, Ohio, an amazing place to grow up, but my dad is from the Philippines. And so I always wondered about that part of who I was. And track and field and just the foundation that Kettering gave me the opportunity to learn about who my dad is, who my family is on the other side of the world, and to just immerse myself in a culture, in his culture, but now I can say my culture because of track and field. So pole vault has given me so much. In 2020, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia to train with some of the most elite girls in the world, and I happened to meet my husband, who is also here today, who's just been a phenomenal support in RAC as I've rounded out the end of my pole vaulting career and transitioned into the next phase of life. So I just want to say thank you so much to Kettering Schools and this just wonderful community. It just truly just takes a village to raise a child, and I feel like I've just been so blessed to be raised by all of you in this phenomenal school system and this phenomenal athletics program. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Pat, and congratulations to Natalie Uirego. A gentle reminder to all of the Hall of Fame members who are with us this afternoon. Immediately after the induction of our newest Hall of Fame class, we'll be asking you to come to the auditorium stage to be part of the pinning ceremony and group picture. Chelsea Welch, inductee number 182. Chelsea joins Natalie Uirego as the first inductees of the class of 2013. Chelsea will be presented by Brian Welch.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone, acclaimed faculty, fellow proud parents, family, and most importantly, my incredible daughter, Chelsea. It is with jubilation and heart full of pride that I stand before you today and introduce one of the newest members of our High School Hall of Fame. Chelsea has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to excellence in academics, athletics, and the community. Her dedication to her studies was praiseworthy, always striving for a deeper understanding and never settling for anything less than her best. On the court, her athletic mastery shined brightly, inspiring teammates with her leadership and determination. In high school, Chelsea, she appeared in 4 state championships, starting her freshman year throughout. Prior to graduating her her records held at Fairmont, one that still stands is career assist of 400, career steals, which recently just got replaced, but that's okay because records are meant to be broken, and assist in games. Here at Fairmont, she was a member of the volleyball team, scholar athlete, junior, senior year, participated in Spirit Club, Spanish Honor Society, student assistance for 4 years. She enjoyed helping others, and she made honor roll all 4 years. So she did that while really playing basketball and putting a lot of work in. Chelsea started her collegiate basketball career at the University of Pitt and finished at Wright State University. While at Wright State, she was nominated the Horizon League Player of the Year. Chelsea played professional overseas in Portugal in the year of 2018 and 19. She was averaging 24 points a night. We would talk to Chelsea frequently after games, and she would say, "Dad, my knees are hurting. I don't know if I'm going to do this long." And my thoughts were, if you're scoring 24 points a night, your knees can't be hurting. Come on, 24 points a night. So, but that's what she said. So I was thinking maybe she could back it up to about 18, 16, just glide a little bit instead of going so hard, you know. So, but it was good for her. Over in Portugal, she was nominated Import Player of the Year. Chelsea is entering her 6th year of coaching at the collegiate level. She is currently the assistant women's basketball coach at Ohio University. OU? There you go. All right. Very good. Thank you for that. Okay. I would like to thank all of her teachers, coaches. Coach Kogan was here. He played a big part. And mentors who played a significant role in her success. I would like to thank her mother, Grace, for supporting her busy schedule and just hanging there with her. I would also like to thank her sister, Brianna, for being a positive role model in Chelsea's life. When Bree was in the 6th grade, Chelsea started in the 2nd grade. Chelsea would go to practice with us, with Brianna, and she'd be in the car before Bree. I think she thought she was a part of that team, but she worked really hard, even as a 2nd grader, and it got her to where she is today. Just hard work. And Chelsea came through the Future Firebirds program. You know, she started off in the 2nd grade, even though it was 3rd grade. She played 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th through Future Firebirds. She played at Van Buren Middle, and then the Fairmont. So she is truly set a Kettering path. You know, this is definitely a Kettering kid from Kettering, I like to say. Okay. You know, Chelsea, again, just a hard player, one that left it all on the court. I coached her in AAU basketball, and one game over the summer. She plays hard, so she got an ankle. She rolled an ankle or what have you, and I thought to take her out, and she said no, and she finished the game. Her choice finished the game, and by the end of the game, she had 2 sprained ankles. So compensating for one, but she's a warrior. That's just the kind of person she is. She's a competitor. She wants to win. So beyond the accolades and achievements, what truly defines Chelsea is her genuine warmth, her infectious enthusiasm, and her unwavering support for those around her. She is a glowing example of what it means to be a well-rounded individual, and it is with immense honor that we welcome her into Kettering Fairmont Hall of Fame. Please join me in celebrating Chelsea, a remarkable young woman who has left an unforgettable memory on our school and community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome for Chelsea Welch.
Okay. Ooh. All right. All right, I think I'm good. I told myself I wasn't going to cry, and I was like, I'm good. And then as all the inductees went one by one, I was like, wow, I'm really upset I'm going last because, ooh, wow, I'm shaking. All right. Well, again, congrats to all the other fellow inductees, some that I know personally. I can attest to Natalie's athletic ability and quickness because at some point in time we did play basketball together when we were Cobras. And I mean, Natalie was insanely quick. Like, no, as soon as she got a steal, like we knew no one was going to catch her and she would just bolt down the court. And then also Robin, I was fortunate enough to have her as my trainer. I don't think I saw her too many times, maybe a couple sprained ankles. Seems to be trending in my career, but yeah, so I'm really fortunate to be here today, and the Hall of Fame committee and the boosters and the board, thank you so much. I think the last time I spoke on a podium was at Christ United Methodist Church at a banquet that we had for our basketball team. It was the first time we had a banquet before the season was over, which was not normal. But we were kind of gearing up for the state title, and we just wanted to mix it up. We came up short a few times, so we're like, why not, you know? Little did I know, though, the next time I'd be speaking to family, friends, in the city of Kettering would be to accept such a life-changing award and accomplishment as this. From the time I could walk, basketball had always been a huge part of my life. I trained nearly all year round from school to AAU, and I did that with some of my best friends. From traveling weekends endlessly, hotels, taking off work, constantly buying me food. My parents were always by my side. My dad was by my side. He was also on the bench. He was also, yelling at me to be in a defensive stance. So, never missed him at all. But my parents saw the potential in me, and they instilled that go-getter mentality that I've always had and that I continue to strive to possess. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys, with a long timeline of events. I know we've been here for a little bit, and I told myself I wasn't going to yap too much because I am a certified yapper. But see if we can stay on track. But I do want to set a little scene for you guys in the beginning where it all started for me. It's probably around 2004, 2005. Little Chelsea comes in, with her bag, probably too big for her, with her goggles on. Thank God for contacts, because I was, Mom, why'd you do me like that? It's okay, though, but I came in with my goggles on, my bag. Allen Iverson was one of my favorites, so I had like a wristband. He had these finger sweatbands. I wear a size 5 now, so you could only imagine how small my fingers were when I was little. I had no business wearing those, and they were sliding off when I would try to dribble down the court, but I thought I was just the coolest thing. And not only that, I walked in with some of my best friends. You may know some of them in the Kettering community, Michaela Waterman, Catherine Westfield, and Alana Skipper. And I was fortunate enough to start playing with them from when I was 9 to 10 years old. We're coming in, we're walking in for our game. Coach Welch comes in after, right? He's rolling in with this speaker, quite literally about this tall, like this wide. I mean, like, it was a professional speaker on wheels, rolling it in, and all the other teams are like, what is going on? Like, these third graders, like, what is happening? And he plugs up his speaker before Bluetooth. And, you know, the first song comes on, and it's Basketball Jones. If you know the song, you know the song. And I mean, we thought we were the toughest team, like, ever, warming up. And my dad took the time to make us this, like, mixed CD. And yes, CDs. I'm, like, just throwing out all these. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, at that point in time, basketball really got competitive for me, and I knew that was something that I could get really good at and something that I wanted to pursue. So from there, I began to travel a lot. Sometimes I would train alone. Sometimes I would train with those friends that I mentioned and many more to work on my craft. And I was fortunate enough to get to develop and grow with people that had those similar dreams and aspirations as me, which not many people get to do. My friends and I really got opportunities that we didn't, or that many others didn't, because we got to grow our chemistry as a team and create a strong bond from 8 to 9 years old. And we got to continue to play together, whether that was through school ball or traveling basketball, all the way until high school to where we were all here at Fairmont and when we won the state championship in 2013. Fairmont has held such a special space in my life, but not only did I get to grow my game, I got to grow as a person. And I had so many influential teachers, counselors, principals, coaches, and many more that I would just love to thank for putting me in the position that I am now in today. So while I can't name every single one because it was a long time ago and there were a lot of teachers, I just wanted to point out a few that stuck in my mind. So first is Mrs. Harto. If you guys know her, she's a lovely woman. She had both of my siblings prior to me coming to high school, and she was a cooking teacher and a culinary teacher. Miss Harto took me under her wing. She got me into drinking coffee. My coffee addiction is due to her. I would check into my home rooms in the morning. That was all the way in South and the only advisory by the main gym. And I'd check in there to say that I was present, and I would spend my mornings with Miss Harto every morning having coffee. And throughout that time, you know, she had different cooking classes. So every now and then, if I had a free period or activity period or study hall, I would check in on her classes. I would be the food tester with all of the extra food that they had whenever they were cooking on those days. And I would only pop up on the days of cooking. So it was like, I think Thursdays or something, they would actually cook the recipe. And I made sure to be there every single time. So I just wanted to thank her for being such a kind soul, teaching me so many things about life, honestly cooking, because I mean, I love cooking now, and I think that's due to her as well, but just a lot of life lessons. Obviously, I would like to thank Jenny. I don't know where she is. Oh, hey. Jenny was one of my English teachers and was a young teacher. We actually talked about this the other night. And she was someone who definitely allowed us to express ourselves. And I think having a younger teacher to look up to, it kind of reminds me of how I'm a younger coach to college young women. Sometimes the age gap isn't that huge, but she related a lot more to us and gave us a voice and empowered us. So I just wanted to thank her for that. And then lastly, another teacher, and Natalie mentioned before, was Senora Haney. Unfortunately, she did pass away. She was a huge influence on many of us, I'm sure, and I can attest to that, thinking of my Spanish classmates alone. She taught Spanish courses like they were college courses, because she also taught at the University of Dayton as well. So she treated us like we were college students, and she really prepared us like for the real world. The amount of homework assignments she gave us, all of that, like it was, I mean, I was ready for college. I don't think I opened one of my AP Spanish books my college Spanish books, because I just knew everything at that point. So hoping she's in a better place and resting easy. So although those were just a couple of the teachers who played a huge part in who I am today, there were so many more. So if you put up with me at any point in time in my high school career, I commend you, because goodness, I was something. I was a firecracker. To Coach Kogan, I think he had to leave. He had a game to coach. But to Coach Kogan and Coach Nissen, thank you for seeing the potential and greatness in me at such a young age. I remember going to youth camps as Firebirds in the summer, and although my camp session in elementary and junior high was in the morning, they always made sure to talk to my parents to make me stay for the high school session after. And I was just the luckiest middle schooler, let me tell you. And, in that moment, I was sad. I wanted to go play and swim with my friends and leave. And I'm like, why do I have to be at camp for 8 hours? And I'm only in 7th grade. Why am I with these high schoolers? Like, I should be going home. I didn't get it in that moment. But now looking back on it, my parents as well as my coaches pushed me on and off the court to prepare me for the college career that I had ahead. And for that, I'm incredibly thankful. To the Fortners, I think Donnie's here. Pam had a surgery, so she could not make it. Thank you guys for being second parents to me. You guys are like the godparents that I never had. I forgot to mention that also, that I consider you guys are like my godparents, but just so you know. But you've been by my side my whole journey in life, and still here with me currently, as well as my families. You've treated me like your own, and you've supported me at my highest and my lowest, and I am so, so thankful for you guys. Yeah, they're great. And to my best friends, who played by my side since we were kids, thank you for always taking my intensity on the court with a grain of salt, and loving who I am unconditionally. I am a competitor and, again, firecracker, feisty, intense, and they love me for who I am, and they just have always loved me harder, and they've ultimately made me a better person. Lastly, to my parents and my family, thank you so much for your countless sacrifices to get me to where I am today, and so I could have the best chance of making a good future for myself. The birthdays that my sister missed traveling to all my games. Sorry, Bree, I see you back there. My bad, but I appreciate you for coming. My mom would get off of work to see my games. She'd get off a couple hours early, drive 3.5 hours, drive 3.5 hours back all in one night and go to work the next day. My dad getting off of a night shift, maybe a double, who knows at that point, and taking me straight to AAU games, 1 hour of sleep. And we would always stop and get coffee at the Shell gas station. My family has given so much for me to be here today and to get to this position. And all around my teammates that I've had in any aspect in my life, I just want to thank them for pushing them, because obviously it is a team sport, it's not individual, and to get the stats and the accolades that I have, you need teammates. It takes a village, as Nat said. I would be nowhere without them, because I can't pass to myself. I can't shoot and rebound and do all the things, and they were really great. Any teammates I've had throughout my way. So all in all, Fairmont has given me some of the best memories of my life. There were pep rallies, there were themed football and basketball games. I went to state all 4 years, and I found out I had a combining record of 99 and 10. In all 4 of my years, with only one other athlete doing that, which is one of my best friends and teammates, Alana Skipper. We are the only 2 to do that. Senior cookouts in the parking lot at the end of the school year, Fairmont and Alter games, the rivalry, of course, volleyball games, because I did participate volleyball, and that was a good break. And Coach Burley and Coach Dan Peterson were awesome. Choir concerts, because I love to sing. Those are just some core memories and pieces that kind of shaped and molded me at Fairmont High School. I could go on, but I promised I wouldn't yap too much. I hope someone's been timing me. I don't think it was too long. But thank you so much to all of my friends, family, Hall of Fame committee, City of Kettering, and boosters for honoring me with this achievement that I get to remember for a lifetime. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and congratulations to Chelsea Welch. At this time, will all Hall of Fame members, excluding the class of 2025, please head up to the auditorium stage, and if you would, form a line so that you may greet and congratulate the newest Hall of Fame members on the stage after they are pinned. Hall of Fame, class of 2025, when I call your name, please make your way toward the stage to receive your pin and to be congratulated by your fellow Hall of Fame members. When you're done being congratulated, please find a seat on the stage and please stay seated for a group picture. Not present with us today, but with us in spirit, Jean Nace Mills, Fairmont East, class of 1982. Robin Lench, Kettering Fairmont, 1998 to 2018. Megan Kelsey Bernard, Kettering Fairmont, class of 2007. Josh Murphy, Kettering Fairmont, class of 2008. Natalie Uwe-Rego, Kettering Fairmont, class of 2013. And Chelsea Welch, Kettering Fairmont, class of 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for the newest class of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame. Well, on behalf of the City of Kettering, the Kettering City Schools, and the Fairmont Athletic Department, and the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, thank you for coming to the 26th Annual Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We look forward to seeing you next year. Go Firebirds!